Samson Dauda is no longer just a rising star, he's a champion. In a sport dominated by mass monsters and genetic freaks, he has carved out his place at the very top. His victory at the 2024 Mr. Olympia wasn't just another win, it was the moment he proved to the world that he wasn't just chasing greatness. He had arrived. For years fans watched him climb the ranks, improving with every competition. He went from being a promising newcomer to one of the most dangerous men on stage. Every time he showed up he looked bigger, sharper and more complete, and when the moment came, he seized it. The Mr. Olympia title is the most prestigious in bodybuilding, and now his name is etched in history alongside legends of the sport. What makes Samson stand out isn't just his size, though he is absolutely massive. His proportions are what set him apart. He carries extreme muscle, but everything flows together. Wide shoulders, a tight waist, and legs that look like tree trunks. His symmetry makes him a nightmare for competitors because he's not just a mass monster, he's a work of art. Winning Olympia doesn't happen by accident. His journey to the top took years of sacrifice, grueling training, and unwavering discipline. He pushed his body beyond its limits, forced every muscle to grow, and fine-tuned his physique to perfection. In a sport where even the best can fall short on competition day, Samson delivered when it mattered most. Fans love him not just for his physique, but for the energy he brings. Whether he's on stage, in the gym, or talking to fans, he has a presence that's impossible to ignore. He's a champion who embraces the grind, respects the sport, and always aims to be better. Some bodybuilders look like comic book characters brought to life, but Sajjad Garibi, better known as the Iranian Hulk, became famous in a different way. His photos spread across the internet like wildfire, showing a man with an unbelievable amount of size, arms and chest so wide they seemed almost unnatural. He was billed as an unstoppable force, a powerhouse with the size of a giant and the strength of a monster. People believed they were looking at the next level of human mass, someone who could rival the biggest names in the sport. But when it came time to prove that size in action, things didn't go as expected. A highly anticipated MMA fight was scheduled, pitting Garibi against another viral giant. When he appeared at the weigh-in, the illusion shattered. He was big, no doubt, but nowhere near as massive as his photos made him seem. The internet turned on him fast, accusing him of editing his pictures, exaggerating his size, and building a reputation that didn't hold up in real life. When he finally stepped into the ring, the fight ended quickly, with Garibi struggling to keep up. His sheer mass wasn't enough. Without skill, without the kind of power expected from someone his size, the myth of the Iranian Hulk crumbled. But even after the backlash, he remains a fascinating figure. Not many people can carry that much weight and still function at a high level. He may not have the muscle density of a professional bodybuilder, but he's still an incredibly large man. His strength is real, even if it wasn't the earth-shaking power people expected. In the end, Garibi is a reminder that in the world of giants, size alone isn't everything. Real strength is tested in competition where only the truly strong can back it up. And speaking of giants, there's another man who didn't just rely on sheer size. He built himself up through years of brutal training, transforming from a skinny teenager into one of the most intimidating physiques on the planet. That man is Martyn Ford, and when you see him, there's no doubt. He's a real-life Hulk. Martyn Ford doesn't just look big, he looks terrifying. Towering over most bodybuilders, covered in tattoos and packing slabs of muscle onto his huge frame, he looks like he was built for battle. His physique isn't just for show either. He's trained in combat sports, spent time in the cage, and proved he can hold his own in a fight. Unlike the Iranian Hulk, there's no debate about Ford's size or strength, he's the real deal. But he didn't start out as a monster. In his younger years he was a tall, skinny kid, nowhere near the beast he is today. That all changed when he hit the gym. He pushed his body to its limits, stacking on muscle while keeping his athleticism intact. His growth was extreme, turning him into a force of nature. His transformation was so dramatic that it didn't just land him sponsorships and gym contracts, it got him into the world of movies. Hollywood took notice, casting him in roles where his size made him a natural fit for playing villains, warriors, and larger-than-life characters. But despite his intimidating appearance, Ford is known for being one of the most down-to-earth guys in the industry. He trains hard, stays disciplined, and continues to build his strength while balancing multiple careers. Whether he's lifting, fighting, or acting, one thing is certain. He doesn't need any tricks or filters to prove his size. He's a true mass monster, built through years of dedication. And if you think Ford is big, Just wait until you see what's next. Some men aren't just muscular, they are giants in every sense of the word. One of them is a man so large that even professional bodybuilders look small standing next to him. His name is Olivier Richters, better known as the Dutch Giant, and his size is almost hard to believe. There are big bodybuilders, and then there's Olivier Richters. Standing at a towering 7 feet 2 inches, this man doesn't just look large, he makes even the biggest bodybuilders seem small. His nickname, the Dutch Giant, isn't an exaggeration. He's one of the tallest and most physically imposing men to ever step into the fitness world. But what makes him truly unique is that he didn't just settle for being a tall guy with a lean build. He turned himself into a muscular powerhouse. When Richters first started lifting, he was nowhere near as massive as he is today. His height was impressive, but his frame was slim. Instead of just relying on his natural size, he spent years building serious muscle, eventually packing on an incredible amount of mass. Now, his arms, chest, and legs match his height, making him look like something straight out of a superhero movie. Speaking of movies, his look didn't go unnoticed. Hollywood came calling. His imposing frame and larger-than-life presence got him roles in major action films, where he often plays intimidating villains or warriors. Despite his sheer size, he moves with surprising agility. His training isn't just about looking big, he focuses on strength and flexibility, making sure his muscles aren't just for show. He's proof that even at an extreme height, dedication to bodybuilding can sculpt an absolute monster of a physique. But while Richters is a giant in every sense, there are bodybuilders out there who might not be as tall but push their muscle proportions to the absolute limit. One of those men is Michal Krizo, a competitor with such freakish size and shape that even the best in the game take notice. When Michal Krizo stepped onto the IFBB pro scene, people couldn't believe what they were seeing. His muscle thickness, round, full arms, and ridiculously developed chest made him look unreal. In a sport where size matters, Krizo seemed to be pushing the limits of what a human frame could carry. His arms look like cannonballs, his delts pop out like they've been carved from stone, and his veins run across his body like a road map. His rise in bodybuilding happened fast. Before joining the IFBB Pro League, he was already a beast, dominating competitions in other circuits. But when he decided to take things to the next level, he showed up looking even bigger and sharper. His ability to put on mass while keeping his structure tight is something that makes him a serious threat on stage. Unlike some competitors who have incredible conditioning but lack size, or those who are massive but not aesthetic, Krizo balances both, making him a nightmare for anyone standing next to him. His approach to training is simple but brutal. Heavy weights, high volume, and a relentless mindset. He pushes every muscle to the max, ensuring that his size keeps growing without losing shape. The result? One of the most freakishly dense physiques in modern bodybuilding. His nickname could just as well be the walking mass. The only question now is how far he can go. With his unreal proportions, many believe he's a future Olympia champion. But to get to the very top, he'll have to take down some of the most dominant mass monsters in the sport, including Mamdou Big Ramy Elsbier, a man who redefined what it means to be a heavyweight bodybuilder. When Big Ramy walks onto a bodybuilding stage, it's almost unfair to the competition. He's not just big, he's massive. His size is something that makes even elite-level bodybuilders look small. His legs are like tree trunks, his shoulders stretch out like they belong to a superhero, and his back has so much width and thickness that it barely looks real. When he stands in a lineup, it's clear that he's built differently. His journey into bodybuilding wasn't the usual story. He wasn't a kid who started lifting early. Before stepping into the gym, he worked as a fisherman in Egypt, spending long hours at sea. But once he got serious about lifting, he exploded in size, packing on muscle faster than almost anyone in the sport's history. It didn't take long before people started recognizing that his genetics were on another level. He wasn't just a big guy, he had the structure, the proportions, and the ability to diet down to competition shape while still looking enormous. That kind of size and dedication led him straight to the Olympia stage, where he didn't just compete, he dominated. Winning multiple Mr. Olympia titles, he cemented himself as one of the greatest mass monsters of all time. His combination of size, conditioning, and freakish muscle density made him almost unbeatable when he was at his best. Despite his intimidating look, Big Ramy is known for being one of the most humble and hardworking athletes in the sport. He respects the game, constantly pushes himself to improve, and never takes his success for granted. He represents what true mass-focused bodybuilding is all about. But as the sport evolves, new challengers are always stepping up, hungry to take his spot. The battle for the biggest, most conditioned physique never ends. Some bodybuilders are big, and some are huge. Then there's Morgan Aste, a man so large that even seasoned professionals look like amateurs next to him. Nicknamed the Big Rock, he is one of the biggest competitors in modern bodybuilding, carrying an almost unreal amount of mass. When he steps on stage, it's like watching a wall of muscle come to life. His shoulders are boulders, his arms are packed with thick muscle, and his legs look like they belong to a heavyweight strongman rather than a bodybuilder. Aste didn't just stumble into bodybuilding, he's been training for size and power his entire life. Before fully committing to the sport, he built his reputation in strongman competitions, lifting absurd amounts of weight and proving that his muscles weren't just for show. That background gave him the kind of raw power and density that most bodybuilders never develop. Unlike some competitors who struggle with balance when they get too big, Aste carries his mass with confidence. His structure is built to handle it, making him one of the most physically imposing figures in the game. His training is as brutal as his physique suggests. He lifts heavy, often, and with insane intensity. His goal isn't just to be big, it's to be the biggest. When he competes, fans can't help but stare. His sheer presence commands attention. Some might argue that his size is almost too much, but there's no denying that Morgan Aste is a true mass monster, the kind of athlete that pushes the limits of what a human body can achieve. But if you think Aste's size is extreme, just wait until you see what comes next. There's a bodybuilder who has earned the nickname the Mutant for a reason. Nick Walker is rewriting the rules of muscle growth. Nick Walker doesn't look human, he looks engineered. His body is stacked with layers of dense, thick muscle that make him stand out even among the biggest mass monsters in the sport. His nickname, the Mutant, perfectly describes him. His arms are enormous, his chest looks like it's carved out of stone, and his legs are so developed that they almost seem too big for his frame. There's nothing normal about his physique, and that's exactly why people can't take their eyes off him. Walker's rise in bodybuilding has been nothing short of explosive. He went from being a promising amateur to a major IFBB Pro League threat in record time. His work ethic is unmatched. He trains with an intensity that few can handle, pushing his body to extremes in every session. His approach isn't about chasing aesthetics or trying to fit traditional bodybuilding standards. His philosophy is simple: get as big, freaky, and conditioned as possible. When he competes, he overwhelms his opponents with sheer size. His muscle density is insane, and his ability to dial in his conditioning has made him one of the most feared bodybuilders on stage. Judges and fans alike know that when Nick Walker shows up in shape, he's nearly impossible to ignore. His physique might not be for everyone. It's extreme, it's freakish, and it's pushing the limits of what bodybuilding is today. But that's exactly why he's one of the sport's biggest stars. Rafael Brandão doesn't just bring size to the stage, he brings one of the most aesthetically pleasing physiques in modern bodybuilding. He's massive, there's no doubt about that, but his muscle bellies are full, round, and flow together in a way that makes his physique look almost flawless. In a world where mass monsters dominate, Brandão offers something different, a perfect balance of size and shape. From the moment he stepped onto the professional bodybuilding scene, it was clear that he was something special. Unlike some competitors who need years to find their groove, Brandão seemed to get better with every competition. His proportions are on another level: broad shoulders, a tight waist, and legs that bring the perfect mix of thickness and symmetry. Whether he's posing or just standing relaxed, his physique looks like it was built with precision. His training is intense, but it's not just about size. He focuses on keeping his lines clean, making sure every muscle group grows in harmony. That's why he's been able to build one of the most admired physiques in the sport. He's not just a bodybuilder, he's an artist, sculpting his body into something that looks almost effortless, even though every detail is the result of years of hard work. As Brazilian bodybuilding continues to grow, Brandão is at the front of the movement. He's already one of the biggest names in the sport, but it's clear that he hasn't peaked yet. With every competition, he refines his physique, proving that mass and aesthetics can go hand in hand. In a lineup full of giants, Rafael Brandão stands out, not just for being big, but for being one of the most complete physiques in the game today. Some bodybuilders are known for their size, some for their shape, and some for their strength. Akeem Williams brings all three together in a way that makes him one of the most powerful men in bodybuilding today. When you look at him, the first thing you notice is the sheer density of his muscle. His chest is thick, his arms are packed with mass, and his back looks like it was carved out of stone. But what really sets Akeem apart is his raw, untouchable strength. Unlike some bodybuilders who focus purely on aesthetics, Akeem built his body through brutal powerlifting-style training. He doesn't just lift for size, he lifts to move insane amounts of weight. His workouts are legendary in the bodybuilding community. He's one of the few competitors who can squat and deadlift numbers that rival professional strongmen. This kind of strength isn't just for show, it's what gives him that thick, dense muscle that looks powerful from every angle. His journey wasn't easy. He didn't rise to the top overnight. For years he competed in stacked lineups, grinding his way up, improving with every show. But when he finally broke through, he proved that he wasn't just another mass monster, he was a real contender in the sport. His conditioning has improved dramatically, and now, when he steps on stage, it's not just about size. It's about size, shape, and detail. What makes Akeem so dangerous is that he's still improving. His work ethic is unmatched, and every time he competes, he looks better than the last time. In a sport where the biggest, strongest physiques dominate, Akeem Williams has proven that he's not just a competitor, he's a powerhouse, and his journey is far from over. If there's one bodybuilder who knows how to bring energy, size, and entertainment to the stage, it's Blessing Awodibu. He's not just a competitor, he's a showstopper. With a physique that blends huge, round muscle bellies with a small waist and a commanding stage presence, Blessing has quickly become one of the most talked-about athletes in the sport. His arms are massive, his legs are powerful, and his overall structure is built for bodybuilding greatness. But it's not just his physique that makes him stand out, it's the way he carries himself. He knows how to work the crowd, pose with confidence, and make sure all eyes are on him. Whether he's competing or just training, his personality is as big as his muscles. Blessing's path to the top wasn't a smooth one. He had setbacks, moments where he wasn't sure if he'd make it. But instead of letting those moments define him, he used them as fuel to push harder. Every time he competes, he brings something new, refining his physique and proving that he's not just about hype, he's here to win. His rivalry with other bodybuilders, his confidence, and his undeniable presence have made him a fan favorite. He understands that bodybuilding isn't just about standing on stage, it's about dominating the moment, creating excitement, and leaving a lasting impact. Whether you love him or love to watch him battle it out, there's no denying that Blessing Awodibu is one of the most electrifying athletes in the sport today. Rich Piana was larger than life in every way. He wasn't just a bodybuilder, he was a personality, an internet icon, and a man who lived by his own rules. His physique was extreme, covered in thick muscle and veins that looked like they were drawn on with a marker. He preached size, strength, and the mindset it took to push beyond what most people thought was possible. But the same mindset that made him great also led him down a dangerous path. Unlike many in the industry, Piana never hid anything. He openly talked about his use of steroids, extreme diets, and the risks he took to keep growing. He wasn't trying to convince others to follow him, he just believed in full transparency. His honesty earned him a massive following. People respected him because he didn't pretend bodybuilding was easy, and he never sugarcoated the sacrifices it took. But his lifestyle wasn't sustainable. Years of pushing his body beyond its natural limits took their toll. In the end, his heart gave out. He suffered a medical emergency, fell into a coma, and never woke up. His passing shocked the bodybuilding world. He was just 46. When people talk about the biggest bodybuilders of all time, Greg Kovach is always in the conversation. He wasn't just big, he was massive beyond belief. His chest, shoulders, and arms were so large that they almost didn't seem real. At his peak, he was one of the heaviest bodybuilders to ever compete, carrying more muscle than most people thought was even possible. But extreme size comes with extreme risks. Kovach was a dominant force in sheer mass. Failure. It was a devastating loss for the bodybuilding world. Dallas McCarver was supposed to be the future of bodybuilding. He had everything: size, proportions, symmetry, and the work ethic to match. From a young age, he was already competing at an elite level, standing next to legends and holding his own. He was a true genetic powerhouse, growing at a rate that made even experienced bodybuilders take notice. Many believed he would one day win the Mr. Olympia title, but the future he was building never came. At just 26 years old, McCarver's life was cut short. One night, he was found unconscious in his home, having collapsed while eating. The cause was later linked to heart failure, a condition worsened by the extreme stress his body had endured from years of pushing himself beyond his limits. His passing sent shockwaves through the bodybuilding world. He wasn't a veteran who had spent decades in the sport. He was just getting started. He had so much left to achieve, so much potential left to fulfill. His story is one of heartbreak and loss, a reminder that sometimes the price of greatness is too high. He was a young man who gave everything to the sport he loved, but in the end, the sport took everything from him. His death was a painful lesson about the risks that come with extreme bodybuilding. That's about it. Would you like to become as big as these bodybuilders? Let me know in the comments. For more useful information, watch other videos.